Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Harvey and we're going to do a meet the team video. We're currently driving towards a quote that we're going to do today, and we thought we'd ask some questions to Harvey and find out a little bit more about what he's been up to.
I don't know the questions, by the way. It's just random.
Yeah.
It's on the spot.
So these questions have been asked by AI. So here we go. First question. What's your name and what do you do at Multi Electrical Services?
Right. Well, my name's Harvey Taylor and I'm an apprentice. I do pretty much everything Steve does, but I get paid less for it. That's basically it. That's that question answered, surely.
How long have you been an apprentice? A bit of a story to this one, isn't there?
So, I've been an apprentice for 2 years, but I worked with Steve for a year, not as an apprentice, because I was looking for an apprenticeship, but I was too late for the cut-off, wasn't I? So basically, I went to college my first year, and I did level 2, and I just didn't enjoy being full-time at college. I felt like I didn't learn a lot as well. And then I was looking around for apprenticeships, and Steve said he's not looking for, like, it was too late, I think, for the cut-off. Steve was like, I can't take you on as an apprentice, but I can take you on as work, and if we get along really well and not whatnot, then he'll then put me into college next year, which was 2 years ago now. I'm nearly in my third year as an apprentice, but I think it's level 4 course. So it's been like 2 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, so basically you missed the cut-off, didn't you, for the official apprenticeship programme. But you'd only done a year at college, but at the time I wasn't really in a position where I could take an apprentice on anyway, so it was quite flexible, wasn't it, for the first year? And then,
yeah. It was only like, we did like 2 days, didn't we, really?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as we started, I worked with Steve Wednesday, Thursday, but I said I'd love a job. So I worked there as well. But then as, obviously, gradually just got more days.
Got busier and busier, didn't we?
And then obviously now I'm an apprentice full time, so.
So the next question is, what made you want to become an electrician?
Well, this was, I don't know how to explain it really, but I liked maths and science. I liked physics and maths, and I had a meeting. I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but at the end of my year 11, when I was doing my GCSEs and stuff, my principal like dragged me into the office, like, and he asked like, "Oh, like, what do you want to do in the future?" And then I obviously said I don't know, and he was like, "Well, what topics do you like?" And then obviously I said maths, physics, and he was like, "Oh, well, have you ever looked about electrical or whatnot?" I was like, no, I've not even looked at that. I didn't even think. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe consider doing that. So then I applied for level 2, and then I really enjoyed it. So now here I am, a couple of years down the line, still doing it.
Excellent. Flipping out, this is a bouncy road. How fast are we going?
Going 40 miles an hour. It's a 60.
So what do you enjoy most about your job? But you can't say me, obviously, because that's obvious.
It's definitely not
that's
that,
obvious. So
don't
mention how much you like me. Just mention about the job.
I think it's the fact of knowing stuff that not everyone would just know. I don't know if that sounds quite full of myself in a way, but
how do you mean?
It's a job where no one can just be like, oh, I can do that. Like, you can't just get up and do it. You've got to actually proper study. You actually have to understand it as well. Like, for the things that we do, you can't just. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could start a job anywhere and you can just get to know it pretty quick and easily, but with our job you've actually got to proper study.
Yeah, there's a lot of training involved,
and you don't just know it straight away. Like, you won't just, like, if you were to just like look at me 3 years ago and said, oh, Harvey, wire up that socket and put a new socket next to it, I wouldn't have a clue what to do. Whereas now obviously I have an idea, so I feel like that's quite cool, having the idea of knowing I can do stuff that some people can't, in a way.
Yeah, it's a highly skilled job, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's not just something you can just pick up in a minute. Like, you got to like actually know it and understand it.
Although some people would argue.
Some people will just do it, but then they just do it. They'll do it wrong or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what's the most interesting job so far that you've worked on?
Well, I enjoy downlights. I enjoy wiring up downlights because I find them really easy. So when we did that job. I won't say the name or address, but we did a job where we did the board, but all the downlights were wired up really wrong. They weren't housed properly, which is very common. And we ended up, he wanted just new ones putting in, didn't he? Like, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I can say on the video, but he wanted new ones everywhere, even in rooms that didn't even have them. So
Oh, so this was a brand new install, wasn't it? It wasn't
Yeah.
just replacing.
no, there was some of them. I think some of the bathroom ones were wrong, but then he wanted also downlights everywhere. So I quite like the idea of measuring up the rooms and like thinking what we think, and then when it's all on and it looks really good, you know, you think, wow, you know what I mean?
We did that.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you did that.
So you look at it at the end, you think, oh wow, that's like it actually looks like amazing. I'm really impressed. So that's them jobs are quite nice because you can actually look at it after and be like, you know, we did know everything already.
What's the biggest challenge you faced as an apprentice?
Can I just say pay? Surely. Can I
Yeah, of
mention
course you
that?
can. Yeah. So what you want?
I just don't. But the pay's obviously not great.
Why would you say that?
Shut up. The pay.
Why would you say that? With your boss at you?
That's no. I'm just being honest. It's the question. I'm being honest.
Jesus.
The pay obviously isn't great. Like I think I started at £5 to make, didn't I? I can talk about this because it's global knowledge. Everyone knows this. It's just the national wage. Obviously, the worst part about it, I love the job and I love everything about the job and I love doing it. But the wage, just I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why the wage is like that because you're just learning. You're not actually making any money. So I get that. But it's not a lot, is it? Which is obviously why I have another job as well. I work in McDonald's part time. I just work nights a lot.
When you first started, you had 3 jobs.
Yeah, when I first started, I had 3 jobs. So we
You
mentioned earlier, didn't we, that I did like 2 days and then I did other jobs. And I worked in another place called Fernley's. I can mention it, I think. Another place called Fernley's and then Mackey's, just for extra money, obviously. And then I quit Fernley's, worked more with Steve during the week, Monday, Wednesday, like Tuesday and that. College is Thursday.
Well, actually, you had the other jobs before you came to me. Was you
Yeah.
at McDonald's before you came to me?
I joined Mackey's like the week after I turned 16, I think it is.
Yeah, so you did. You was already working 2 jobs when you started.
Yeah, so I had 2 jobs, which was one was Fernley's, and then the other one was McDonald's. And then obviously I knew what I wanted to do, which was be an electrician. So when I was looking around for apprenticeships, that's obviously when I found Steve's. Then I had to free up a day to then work with Steve. Obviously now that I'm further along with my whatever I'm doing and actually work full time pretty much, that's obviously why I quit Fernley's. But I still stay at Mackey's. I'm still at Mackey's now.
To get the staff discount.
That as well, because that is a good discount.
Ooh,
Okay.
This is a good one.
All right.
What tool or piece of equipment do you use all the time?
Impactor. I'm lazy.
Lazy as well.
That is actually down to being lazy. Like I just never.
It's not. It's a tool that we use.
But I just never want to hand screw anything. I mean, you could say also like screwdrivers and pliers. 'Cause obviously, that's just obviously the main things, isn't it? Like that's the main things you use: screwdrivers and pliers. But
So-
I think,
So, what's your favourite bit of kit? What's your favourite tool? I think it's the impact then, is it?
yeah, definitely. I hate hand screwing stuff. It's just so boring. So boring and bad.
So, your favourite bit of kit is the voltage indicator improver unit.
It's definitely not.
The bit of equipment that saves your life is definitely your favourite bit. Okay, I'm glad I got that.
That's not it. That's the one.
What's the one thing people might not know about being apprentice? Literally anyone watching this that doesn't know, I suppose.
What don't they know?
What don't they know about being apprentice? So,
Well, it's not easy, I don't think. Like you actually have to. You've always got to be on your toes. Like say for example, if you're doing something, I always look to make sure if you need something else. Like you always want to be super helpful to your boss. Like you've always got to think ahead. Like so, say if you're doing a job, I know what you'll need next. Like I normally just go and get it, don't I? Like I'll just go get a Hoover, or if you're putting up a light, I'll get the impactor, I'll get the screws. Like I think you've got to be on it. Like you can't be lazy.
yeah, in your first week you did.
You're kidding me, what?
When you was on probation, it was really helpful.
What? It wasn't even probation. Anyways, the moral of the story, before he starts piping up, moral of the story, you've literally just got to be on it. Like, you got to be, I don't know whether the word's thoughtful, but you got to be like thinking about what you got. Basically, you just want to be a help. And if you're not helping, you just sat on your phone being lazy, like I don't do. Sometimes I do, but I normally don't do. But obviously, if you do your job and you actually enjoy it, it's just like the best thing ever, I think. Like I don't think I could have enjoyed it anymore. I enjoy it a lot.
If you wasn't an electrician, what job would you do?
Probably a telecoms engineer with my stepdad. My
Oh,
stepdad does telecoms, so like, he fixes like towers, like 3G towers and stuff. And obviously he's pretty high in the business. Like he's now like some sort of manager or whatever. And he's obviously, before I even became an electrician or thought about it, he offered me like a job and stuff. And obviously I was pursuing the electrical. So I think if I didn't do that, I probably would have gone into something like that. like telecoms engineers and stuff like that. I think that's what I would have done.
Cool.
Okay.
If you could wire up anything in the world, what would it be?
Wire anything up? What, is it a place or a thing?
You,
Is
you
it like,
make up the scenario.
I'd love to wire up like the top of a skyscraper.
There was that job, wasn't there, you told me about, where it's replacing a light bulb.
Yeah,
That's
but I wouldn't do that. I would, well, if it meant I got paid a lot like he does, I would do it. He changes like the highest bulb in like, is it New York or something crazy?
I can't remember.
A light bulb that needs changed once a year and he gets like 50 grand or something silly. I would do that, but that's not like something I'd like to wire. That's not like, I'm not interested in that. But I wouldn't mind like wiring like the most richest gaff ever, like. Or West Ham Stadium.
That's what I was just about to say. I bet you'd like to wire at West
I
Ham.
wouldn't mind doing some electrical jobs in West Ham Stadium.
So if you're from West Ham United, you can make Harvey's dream come true.
Yeah, please send
Or
me.
Nottingham Forest.
No. I don't want to
You can
wire.
make my dream come true.
I might wire the lights wrong so then you like game gets postponed.
Or if you're from another electrical company, you can take Harvey on and make my dreams come true.
I've been sacked.
So West Ham then, yeah?
Or like a really rich skyscraper house, because imagine the view, like,
What's a skyscraper house?
you know, like the tippity top of a skyscraper. The really rich people's houses.
Yeah, I got you.
That kind of thing.
What advice would you give to someone thinking about becoming an apprentice?
I'd definitely say do it. I preferred it a lot more to college. Well, it kind of depends on who you are. Like, I mean, even before Steve, I was working like a lot. I was working like 5-6 days a week, so I had my other jobs when I was 16. But if you're more hands-on and you prefer to just get up and go to work and do your thing, like if you prefer that, then definitely do an apprenticeship over college, because that's exactly what I was like. Like I when I did full-time in college, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it because I knew that's like I enjoyed the job itself, but I knew it weren't for me because it was constantly like every day was just sat on a board doing some like just stuff that I didn't enjoy.
But would you say that although you didn't start off as an apprentice, you started full-time at college, but would you say that's a good route to make a start if you can't get an apprenticeship?
If you can't get an apprenticeship, I think I think that is, because it gets you into the basics. It makes you understand what the job's going to be like. So like that's kind of why now I know I wanted to be it. Like I said earlier, like because I went to college and I did the electrical, I realised I actually really do enjoy it. So I think it does give you like a basis, but don't get me wrong, you can't do that and then instantly know everything. Like when I went on site with you, like the first time when I went on site with Steve, like I was pretty useless even though I'd done a year at college. Like I think even though I sat there studying and did I passed all my stuff, like I didn't fail any exams or anything, I passed them all. I still weren't very good on site, like so don't think you're gonna just instantly pop on site and be like
I remember you had like a good understanding of stuff, like so. I think one of the first things I asked you when we met at the site was
what's the CPC or something like that.
It was about earthing arrangements, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Earthing systems, TNS, TNCS.
And they teach you the basics.
And you knew those. I think you now know the figures for them. So
TNCS 0.35. TNS is 0.75, and then TT is like 200 megaohms.
So isn't TNS? What did you say? 0.7?
0.75.
It's 0.8, isn't it?
Nah, just turn my phone off.
So how many people did you ring?
Okay.
Before you rang me?
I'd say I rang about 15 people. And some of them didn't pick up, and obviously didn't call back, so I didn't leave a message or anything. And then other people picked up and said they're not looking for anyone, they've already got everyone, blah, blah, blah. And then it wasn't until, obviously, I called Steve, and Steve said maybe. And then he texted me saying, do you want to come for a drink? And then, like, not alcohol, a tea. Just to clarify.
How did you make that sound weird?
I don't know. And then
I basically said, come, because obviously I haven't got a premises or an office anywhere. I said, come to the house, we'll have like an informal interview. So it was just like over a coffee, whatever. Didn't want it to be too, because at the time I didn't have any positions, so it was more a case of come and have a chat, let me see who you are, what you're about. And if anything, because I did want an apprentice, but it was just at the time it wasn't the right time. Or so it seemed, financially, etc. So we did a sort of informal interview in my lounge, didn't we?
yeah.
It turned out that Harvey went to school with some of my children, so they were the reference. I spoke to them, they said he was a good lad, which I've still not forgiven them for.
Okay, carry on. Let's just ignore that.
So yeah, but it was difficult, wasn't it, to actually get an apprenticeship?
It's super hard.
It still is now to this day.
And I think it's probably harder. Yeah, I was about to say that. It's probably harder than it was for me, and it was difficult for me as is. Like a lot of people struggle probably more trying to take people on. But like, everything's just increased in price as well. Like, and I don't know. The world's kind of just changed. It's a lot harder nowadays than it even was for me, and it was difficult for me. So you could actually just full-time college, but
to be fair, not 100%. I can't really remember back, but if you hadn't have done that year at college, would I have took you so seriously? I don't know, because I suppose in my mind it's like you've committed to a year, so you clearly like some aspects of it, but you're just not enjoying the classroom side.
Yeah.
Which is how I describe myself. You know, I like the hands-on. Everyone seems to aspire to get off the tools and into an office. Look, I couldn't think of anything worse. I like being on the tools. So yeah, so doing that year at college proved to me that you did have some want for the job. So, and I probably get a phone call or an email a week, people asking for an apprenticeship or if I've got any positions available. So that's definitely increased. But anyway, yeah. Right, next question.
Can't have many left, surely.
What's the one skill you really want to master as an electrician?
Can I just say science as a whole?
What?
Science, is that a skill?
Science?
Yeah. Would that be a skill, or is that?
Well, elaborate what you mean.
As in the whole science behind it, like cable calcs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah, if you want, yeah, it's a skill.
Is that a skill? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously, I think, the hardest part. Like, I don't think I struggle a lot with testing. I think I'm pretty good with testing. I don't think I'm doing my reg stuff now, and I think I'm doing all right. But the whole science side, I think, is going to be super hard. So I think that's probably the bit. If I could master that, that'd be great. Like, just to know the calculations in my head, like Bosch, and to know, like, do you know what I mean? To know it all.
Yeah, I think, especially in the domestic sector, we're kind of a bit guilty of, oh, it's a socket, 2.5 mil. It's a light, 1 mil or 1.5 mil. It's an oven, 30. So
there's loads of things. There's like volt drop, cable calcs. There's like
there's
so
much to do. Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool to master that, just so then when it comes down to it, I ain't got to think twice. Or do you know what I mean? I think that'd be cool. Obviously, that's just probably never going to happen. That's like hard. I don't think anyone will ever fully understand it, will they? They've always got to check the book.
Yeah, you won't be able to do it off the top of your head.
When you're doing your exam and stuff, you'll obviously understand it because you've probably been revising the last week, or like, well, not week, months, you know what I mean? But then once you've not done your science exam for ages, you'll just slowly forget. But I think that's just normal. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Done.
We've got a quick fire question, a bonus question.
Bonus question, lovely.
Best brand of power tools? And I've got the answers right down.
There's no such thing as that.
There is. So what's the best maker power tools?
Well, I'll just tell you what I've got.
Well, tell me what you think it is. What's your favourite? What's the best?
A Milwaukee.
Correct.
That's my favourite. That's the best, but they're just so expensive. I don't have them.
Hang on a minute, you've got DeWalt.
Yeah.
That's the same price, surely.
No, it's not. The same stuff I got from DeWalt, if it was Milwaukee, would have been like a couple £100 more. Think about how much that cost. All my power tools, probably like £600, like £550 or something.
Fair enough.
And I think Milwaukee would have been at least looking at £800-900 surely. For everything I got, Hoover and everything like that. Yeah.
Right, that's it. That's
the
bonus question.